Assalamualaikum and hi everyone.
I'm Jessie.
And I'm Mazia.
We created this book.
Into the Mangroves.
I wrote it.
And I illustrated it. So how did we come up with Into the Mangroves?
Well, first we're friends and colleagues, right? We often talk about our kids and we're always talking how we want to contribute more to Brunei.
So being stuck in Brunei and not being able to travel anywhere really motivated us to encourage our kids to enjoy what we have here locally. Because we're so used to traveling and expecting adventures overseas, but COVID really made us appreciate family time and home, being home.
And during COVID, we found that, for the first few weeks wasn't too bad, but when you're having months and you're just on the screen daily, whether it's us teaching online or helping our kids, right? They were constantly on the screen. So their free time would be, if they ask for more screen, it's just the whole day. So we needed to get out of that routine.
Yeah, we wanted to develop, we love reading to our kids, but we wanted to encourage that reading culture.
Exactly. Yeah. So we thought this book would encourage them to see something familiar.
Yeah. And relatable.
Move away from the screens and just enjoy outside, enjoy reading, doing something other than that.
So we just wanted the kids to find adventure in this book. So we're always talking about our own kids and what do we do next, There's no shortage of things to do here, I guess.
Absolutely not. There's so much outside, whether it's our mangroves or going to Kampung Ayer or seeing our beautiful mosques.
Yeah, so we're always sharing ideas, to get our kids, because we have the same ideals. We want our kids to just, be proud of Brunei and explore Brunei.
Appreciate what we have.
Yeah. I think it came out of thin air on different occasions in the same timeline, right? Because we both had this idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we both came together. It just happened so organically. Yeah. It took a whole year to create this. In the beginning, it was a lot of talking back and forth. Actually, Jessie had a lot of the writing done at that point, and I was still figuring out the illustrative style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, we discussed the pages, how each page would go. Maybe we should add this part to it, or that part. We both had our own inputs.
Yeah.
But it was, as I said, very organic.
It was. And we also adapted to whatever situation we were in.
Yeah.
So when it wasn't COVID, we would see each other for coffee or, that sort of thing, and then we'd discuss it. Yeah. And then when everything started shutting down, it was still in the back of our heads that we wanted to do this. So that was June last year, I would say we started.
We started discussing in June, and the second wave happened in August. Yeah.
But we were always sending each other messages. And she'd give me little shots of her pictures and I'd get really excited because it's so nice seeing pictures match what you wrote and realize that it was so beautiful and it was really bringing the words to life, and I was just so excited. So we would, we did a lot of research on our own during this time. We spoke to, different publishers as well, and we went online to see roughly how to create a book, page size, etc. And we went back and forth.
There's a lot of technical aspects to this.
Oh yes.
It was not that straightforward, but that was also a blessing because we really learned a lot from this one book. Yeah. So this story came about when we happened to talk about the Mangroves tour, and it inspired a story and started a creative flow of ideas because we've both been on it ourselves. On separate occasions, but we had a similar experience.
So let me tell you about myself. I like to write. I love my family and I love my country. So this book has all three of those things in there. It's about family, it's about, going on an adventure together, and it's about my country. So I'm new to writing, but I've published 2 books in 2022, Into the Mangroves and Family Recipe. But Into the Mangroves is my first book, and it's very close to my heart. It's, brings up such fond memories I spent with my daughter on our tour. And, I truly believe that it's just not too late to accomplish your dreams. I really wanted to do this, and I finally sat down and said, look, if I want it, let's sit down, let's do it. And so that's what I did.
I'm a visual artist and a fine artist specifically, but I've been getting into a lot of different medias recently. And actually, COVID made me start illustrating on my iPad. The subject of my work revolves around the theme of creation, nature, and fertility. I'm a teacher by profession, but I'm also a very active member in the Brunei creative industry. I've exhibited my works in Brunei and many other countries. So I'm inspired by my Islamic faith and my experiences of motherhood, as I'm a mother of three, and my kids inspire a lot of the works that I create. The subject of my work draws heavily on inspiration from Brunei's landscapes and is often playful and dreamlike in tone. I love looking at nature. I'm always inspired by nature. I like to take my kids on adventures, and I love photographing flowers and just whatever inspires me. And all these inspiration go back into my work. They translate into my artwork. Why did we decide to create this book?
Well, we both had a similar vision. I really wanted to write a book.
And I've always wanted to illustrate a children's book.
So the stars aligned for this project. One day we just talked to each other, and thought, let's do this. We've been talking about it. Why don't I write something? And why don't you try illustrating it?
And I think it helps that we have kids that are similar ages. So it really helped with our, our vision of what this book was supposed to look like. We made a plan and we stuck to it.
And we thought that the relationship was so fluid. So when I came, when we had something to write and we had these ideas, and I would show Mazi and Mazi would show me her work, it worked.
Yeah, it was a really easy transaction. A very easy, a very easy flow of ideas and creating. So we really enjoyed this process. So like our casual conversations over our goals and aspirations led us to really plan this. We wanted to really develop a book about Brunei and the similar ideas we share about nature and family, specifically like being sustainable. Appreciating nature, taking care of our nature.
And that's what we found. It's like just these casual, conversations that we had, and we'd always talk about how beautiful our nature is in Brunei, that we wanted to showcase that as the main part of the book. And that's why we wrote there a Brunei story by Bruneians, because it is a story about Brunei, being on a tour in Brunei that we both took, not at the same time, but as you were saying, it's the experience was very similar.
Yeah, similar and relatable. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nature and children, basically. We both wanted to accomplish something that would make ourselves proud. So we all have different perspectives of what we have in our own country. Even though Brunei may be similar to Malaysia or Singapore, Brunei is still special in its own right. Into the Mangroves showcases our nature and culture and folklore, and it gives room for parents and their children to experience talking about it.
So when I went on this tour with other families, I found it interesting that everybody had a different story to tell. So when we saw something at the Mangroves, one person would tell their version of a story, and then I realized my version was different. And even the tour guide started chiming in, and he had a different story. So it really stuck with me that there's so many different versions that could be shared. And so what we did in the book as well is we left room for parents to be able to experience this with their children and with other people to talk about their versions.
It's funny because Jessie was really interested in the folklore aspect. And when I went on the tour, I just looked at the animals, and that really worked.
Yeah, it did. So you did a good mix of make sure that we talked about the different sort of folklore, and then we also kind of switched it over to making sure we talked about that nature part as well. So I also used my daughter to help me read and edit this book because we have young children. So we wanted to make sure that children around their age could read it, could understand what we were trying to say. And she also, told me that it would be nice if it rhymes, because it would be like more of a song and easier. So she had great ideas and I used them. I thought it was very good to use our family and our friends as help towards this. So as soon as it was done, I read it to her and she said, "It's good, Mom, put it in a magazine."
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
good.
Well, we didn't put it in a magazine. We decided to self-publish, right?
So we also wanted this to be authentically local because it feels different having something homegrown. We use local printers and local distributors to align our goals to have a Brunei book by Bruneians.
Our family, especially our husbands, were very encouraging of our project, actually.
Even though they're not on the cover,
Yes.
but they're there.
They were there.
The
Yeah. So we asked them for their opinions as our first sources of reviewing our work. Because we felt it was good together. We did it. You did the illustrations, and we had the text, and we were like, wow, this is good. But we wanted the next line of approval, and we thought if they liked it, then maybe we're onto something here.
Yeah.
And so we did, and they were very encouraging. They helped. They were so
gave us a lot
supportive.
of input throughout the process. Yeah.
And I would like to say a thank you to all. To both husbands who have been very supportive and have been our runners, our drivers, and the guys who carried the books for us when we needed. So thank you.
Yeah, it was a family affair.
It really was, wasn't it?
Nature is always a central theme in my work, and I've always taken an interest in the mangroves, especially because it's a protector. It protects us from strong tidal waves and tsunamis, and it is a protector for many different animal species. Mangroves are known to be nurseries for baby animals to thrive. Going to the mangrove tour itself is so inspiring because it's so beautiful, and there's also this mysterious aspect to it.
Since it was based on our experience of touring the mangroves, and ultimately we wanted the book to be created or for kids to relate, to encourage others to explore as well, we had a few parents tell us that after they read their book, their children wanted to go on the tour, right?
Yeah, and they pointed out similarities and differences in the book. And that's why we created the book. It's for families to bond and enjoy and be proud of our own backyard.
We wanted to show that locals can contribute to reading sources and not only depend on international sources. I mean, we often read to our children and read most of the famous beloved authors.
Yeah,
but these books,
international authors, right?
Yeah. But these books miss the most relatable link to our own culture and heritage.
Yeah, it's good to see someone that looks like themselves on the cover,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, this is to all the moms out there. It was only later that we realized that the main character was a woman who took her children on the tour. We are a society that recognizes women as leaders and are the backbone of the family, and it is something we're proud of.
The characters in the book recognize the respect that women play in our society as mothers, leaders, and adventurers. We may have not intentionally had a woman to lead the tour, but it just seems automatic as two moms. Like, we just thought, mom is taking her kids on a tour. Yeah, it was natural. Yeah.
And well, we wrote the book, so.
Yeah.
So what's next?
Inshallah, another book. Yeah. Something in this format, something similar, but it's a different concept, a different setting, different theme, but something similar. Yeah.
Where it'll showcase Brunei again, something
family,
to do with our families,
and culture,
our own heritage.
We'll draw on our own experiences.
Absolutely. Although this concept is very in its infant stage.
Still a baby.
Yeah,
no, it's still a fetus.
Baby. Yeah, absolutely.
Still a fetus. Yep.
But because we're currently dealing with our current project.
Yeah.
I mean, what's next for our current project is that we're hoping that we could distribute internationally.
Yeah, we'd love for this to go, be shared around the world. That would be our ultimate goal. But I mean, going locally, we would love this to be in all schools.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
And it will be like reading material and also a resource for teachers, for students. Yeah.
And to encourage others to join in and add on to our literacy society.
Yeah. Try to do something that is from the heart, like something that is personal to you. Don't compete with people. Just do your own thing. That's one of the advices.
Write it down.
Yeah.
Try it out.
Do it. Yeah. You have to do it.
There's so many illustrators there. I see online that they're advertising that they illustrate. reach out, talk to people,
Mm-hmm.
talk to other writers.
Do your research.
Yeah. Even send us a text on IG, you know. It's
Yeah.
I found that we got a lot of help from other writers, and it was good to talk to them. So
Yeah.
I just felt
People are very willing to help.
They
I think.
are.
Yeah. You just have to reach out. Don't be shy about it. Yeah.
and get out there.
Yeah.
If you've got it written, if you got something, speak to the next person. Don't
Yeah.
And you've got to be willing to take the criticism
Yes.
and also the changes.
You have to
So,
want to improve.
Yeah. If you see my first text to my last text, it's a lot of changes, even to the day, right? The day before printing, 24 hours before we decided to
Yep.
print, I was banned from changing
Yeah.
anything else but it's hard because this book is a part of you
Yeah.
and you're sharing it with everybody else. So
yeah, but that's why it leads me
nervous.
to my point. Like you have to do it from your personal experience, your own heart. Like it has to come from you. Yeah. Don't try to emulate someone else. Just make it yours. I don't know how to explain that advice,
that's
but
right.
yeah.
So we decided to self-publish because we thought it might have been easier to control. We did ask around, and we did get a lot of help from people who have created books and stuff. And one of the things that we ultimately came down to is that we wanted this out there, we wanted to share, and it was just easier to self-publish.
Yeah. It is expensive to go through a publisher. Yeah. And because it's a kid's book, we wanted to really invest more in the, what's it called?
Quality.
Yeah, we wanted to invest in the quality of the book. So that's where most of our money went.
Yes. We wanted to start small as well because it's between us two. We're both moms and working families.
Yeah.
So we weren't sure whether it would go well or not. And, you know, we thought we start small, see where it goes.
Yeah, but the point is it's out there now. It's like,
Absolutely.
We've done something that we're proud of.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if we had to talk about how we could improve in the future, we would probably
be better about marketing and
Yes.
distributing. Yeah, we're still learning about that. But that's also why we wanted to do this ourselves, because we wanted to learn the process of publishing.
Yeah.
You know, through this one book that we made.
And I mean, it was a good experience.
Yeah, it was a very good experience.
We got a lot of good coffee in the end
Yeah.
as well. So, congratulations to you.
You too.